Hey everybody, welcome back to the ThriveWell Podcast. I'm Jess, your host today, and we are here with a good friend, Brenda Brosnan, who is an incredible loan originator here in Michigan, been in the business 34 years. So she's seen it all and has all of the information that you guys want today on funding, loans, and best practices. Brenda, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. So, 30 plus years in the industry, and you're with Cross Country Mortgage, right here in the heart of Michigan. So where's the headquarters for this?
Our branch is in Bloomfield Hills.
Bloomfield Hills. Okay. Yeah. And you run a massive branch, many loan officers, and your primary is that you help serve realtors and clients all over Metro Detroit.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so I think people really today, of course, we've got to hit the number one, which is interest rates. How can you help educate anybody listening here today on how to really understand an interest rate and what is the things they should be looking for rather than the headline news, the social media posts of, interest rates are so high post-COVID.
And one little move in the market, everyone's plastering everywhere. The rates drop, drop. So interest rate is very important, don't get me wrong. But I genuinely believe when working with a client and talking to people that payment is critical. And it's not to say, again, that interest rate isn't important. It is important. But when you really do the math, let's just say, for an example, on a $300,000 mortgage, do you know the interest rate difference in about 0.25% is like $46, $47?
Yep.
So when you're really thinking about an interest rate and a loan, first thing I would say is when rates are not where you hoped they would be, you're never going to keep that particular loan for 30 years.
Right.
And so you're not going to stay with it. And when rates do fall, you are going to get a better rate. But everything needs to be based on someone's personal finances and their budget. You'll often find on Google, I'll have a lot of clients call and they say, Google says my payment for my new mortgage should be XYZ% of my income. That is what Google says. Mm-hmm. I think it's better to budget your payment to fit into what is your take-home pay and what are your other expenses. So your payment should be everything. The rates are going to be what the rates are going to be, but they will always, always come down. It's just a matter of when. Yep. So if you can handle the payment and that fits your budget so you don't go upside down, get into credit card debt, you can't go enjoy a dinner out, you can't go buy yourself a shirt or go on family vacation, payment's everything. So reduce your loan amount. The rate is barely going to move your payment, and it will never be with you forever.
Yeah, so understanding what you really can afford to pay.
Yes.
And that's beyond the math. Like, your take-home pay, mathematically, you can work all these percentages out, but at the end of the day, what it costs to be you and the lifestyle you want to live is totally different than the affordability math.
Yes,
yeah.
And what Google says.
Yes, I love that. And I think that's really important, especially for our youth. Buying homes right now, they all have great jobs and they're making more money than expected, and oftentimes they just aren't looking at the right thing. So the recurring payment, the lifestyle choices, et cetera.
And you may qualify for much higher, but it doesn't mean based on your lifestyle and what you take home and because we qualify home buyers on their gross pay.
Right.
Before deductions, before 401k, before different expenses, and just your lifestyle. You said it perfect.
Yeah, before we didn't realize
budget.
You eat out 6 days a week. Holy heck.
Yes. So I often have clients actually do a fun exercise. They don't think it's fun.
Yeah.
But I have them do an exercise where I say, just go back and grab any random month in the last 6 months and go start, if you pick September 1 in your bank account to September 30, and go see every paycheck that comes in, your take-home pay, And what are you spending?
Yes.
What do you pay? What are you doing for dining out? That little teeny quick sandwich at Tim Hortons for $7.79, or your little Starbucks that you treat yourself to, that all adds up, and all of a
Times
sudden
20.
it's $200,
Yes.
and you just weren't paying attention. And when you look at those numbers, you subconsciously will spend less, and you will easily afford a payment.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And it is painful, because when you
It is.
realize, oh my gosh, I overlooked the
Yeah.
compound effect
Yes.
of that choice
Yes.
day in and day out. It's not
Yes.
just this one choice a day of a quick $5 coffee.
Yeah.
It's that choice made 2 times a day for
Yes.
30 days at a time. Oh my goodness.
And it's not just painful. It is slightly painful to open the account and just write these things down on a piece of paper, add them up. But it is extremely empowering.
so important.
So important, but
Yes.
very empowering.
Oh, totally. I'm with you on that. Painful when you haven't, right? When
Yeah.
you haven't, you realize, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I've gotten way outside the lines here. I'm coloring outside the lines, and I just got to get right back in it. So I love that. I think that's super smart for people to hear. Okay, so take us through some interesting ways in which people are getting funded today. And maybe it's not interesting to you, but interesting in what are some, unique ways in which you've helped fund people in the last 12 months?
Oh gosh, you mean the non-conventional ways?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so your traditional mortgages would be conventional, FHA, VA. Those are your traditional that most know about. Rural development, right? Those are your standard. We call those in lending agency loans, right? Those are your standard traditional loans. Unique ones, we call our portfolio private lending, right? Cross Country Mortgage happens to be the #1 retail lender in the country. We have a lot of money, so we can do unique things that most can't. And, there are unique, we just did one where we gave a client, this isn't as unique as some of the stuff, but we have a client that just, it's hard sometimes to get an offer accepted out there with the contingency of selling your home first to get all your money, right?
Yes.
To use that for your down payment and closing costs. So we have a unique Equity Express home equity line of credit where we showed them the product. We let them go online and do a quick pre-approval. It's all done in 5 minutes. Sometimes you can just qualify with a 401k, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's a AI-driven tool, and they had their money in 6 days.
Wow.
Wired right into their bank account. They did luckily qualify, so on the purchase of a new home, they got to go write an offer right away. They got their offer accepted with multiple offers because they had a large down payment in that scenario, and they didn't have to sell their current home, right?
Yes. So they removed the contingency.
They didn't have that
making them more
contingency,
attractive.
which, is hard in a multi-bid situation. And they got their offer accepted, and they're closing today at 3 o'clock.
Amazing. Yeah.
But they did qualify with the home equity line of credit and their current mortgage on their current home. But one of the other unique things we have is because sometimes when you have a house to sell, you have a qualifying problem. You have to qualify with that if you have financing and taxes and insurance on the house they currently own. And then you also have to qualify for a new mortgage payment, right? So you have a qualifying that could be an issue, and then you might not have money for down payment, right?
Yep.
So we have a loan product where you can completely, without even listing your house, close with our private portfolio loan and just write a letter of intent that says, I will be listing my home in the next 90 days, and we can completely ignore the
debt.
payment and the debt on
Wow.
the current home, which is unheard of that
That's
I know
incredible.
of.
Yeah.
Just with a little letter from the buyer.
Huh.
Now, they do still have to qualify. I'm sorry, they still have to have their down payment money.
Okay. Yes. So they have to have that cash flow.
They've got to have some cash
Yep.
to still do 15 or 20% down payment.
Okay.
But it's a unique product that I don't know anybody else has because this contingency of having to sell a house is really hard when you have less inventory and more buyers out there in the market right now.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think any seller would look at that and say, I'm not willing to take the risk. You
Yeah.
never know.
No, not
Yeah.
when they have somebody that doesn't have the contingency, even if that offers a little less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, really good stuff. I think that's helpful for people to hear. When you look at the 30 plus years in the industry and in the finance industry for yourself, this is the ThriveWell podcast.
Yeah.
So we're interested in knowing, how did you over time, I'm sure there were moments where, the industry was eating you alive, the work was eating you alive, the stress of it all, the pressure of rising over the years and the market shifts were difficult. I know you're a family woman. You have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
How did you maintain or sustain thriving well?
So I started as a loan officer back in the 90s, and I learned from an incredible real estate coach, believe it or not, that I had to get help. You can't do everything in an 8-hour day, or you lose balance, and that's where people get divorces and they have heart attacks and all that stuff, right? Because if you want to win and you want to be a top producer, you have to be able to take care of people. You can't miss calls. You can't not return calls. You can't promise things and not deliver every single thing you promise. So I hired my very first assistant in 1996, believe it or not. I know, you were probably still in grade school.
I mean, I was in school.
I know, right? It's okay. It's okay, right? And so I have 3 amazing, I have a right hand, a left hand, and my executive assistant, and they help me. So they're doing some of the stuff that I don't have time to do, because my most important job is talking to my clients.
Yeah. And I think it's important. You talked about, you can only do so much in an 8-hour day, and delivering on what you promise.
Or 10 hours.
Yeah, or 10 or 12, whatever it may be. We get it. And delivering on what you promise is the priority.
Yes.
And so I think
and a lot of time with people. Like, you have to have time. It can't be that quick conversation.
Yeah, and quality
and toss
time.
them off to an online app and then shoot out a pre-approval and say, call me when you get a purchase agreement.
Right.
There's a
and
lot
I
of
think you
time
missed
that I
the
spent.
nuance. Even the taking it back to the very beginning of this podcast where you spoke to, hey, I have my clients go through a simple activity. What is the cost of you? I need to know so that we can actually have an intelligent conversation beyond the mathing.
Yes.
Like, on paper, we can math.
Yes.
In reality.
You qualify fine.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's an important factor when you look at people who can serve you, whether it's in the finance industry or on the real estate side, is what is the quality time that you're going to get guided from this particular person, and those who are leveraged with a great team behind them are the ones that really are going to be able to catch those nuances that will make or break your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, from the pandemic forward, there were so many agents that unfortunately misadvised clients because they didn't know, and they were moving so fast they missed the nuance of, well, we're draining your bank accounts to go $75K over price right now, and you're underwater immediately.
Yeah.
And you'll never get that. It's over improved essentially, right, for the neighborhood. And it's moments like that. You miss those micro moments that can make or break the trajectory of someone's life when it comes to these opportunities of buying and selling.
And I find that there's just not a lot of education out there with clients that are starting as first-time home buyers. And, even my clients, I have clients that have worked with me for 25 years. They just call me because I've been doing it so long, right? And they don't remember. They've bought a house like twice or 4 times in their lifetime. We do it every day. So going through even with that move-up buyer and coming up with a plan, it's just critical. So it takes a lot of time with every single client. And because of my team, I can scale. And I just am the one that spends the most time with them, coming up with their plan, meeting their goals.
I think it's brilliant.
Then I have this thing at home called my husband,
Yes.
right? And I enjoy time with him, and we like to travel, and we're getting older, so quality
you garden,
of life matters,
right?
Yep,
there's lots of things, and that's the purpose of the work, is to fund the beautiful life. And I love that you take your work very seriously.
I do. I love it.
I know
love
you
what I
do.
do. I love it.
I think fun
Still,
fact.
this many years later, I love what I do.
And I think that matters. It's why you've been in the industry for so long. If you
long,
truly don't love what you do, and I mean that in our industry in particular, it takes such a toll because you're dealing with emotions every single day in complex issues of financing and dreams.
An emotion.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional thing for somebody to buy.
Yes.
The biggest thing they're going to buy in their lifetime.
Yeah. Hey, oh, yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scary.
So your clients, I think what's important for people to hear are that sometimes it's not always easy. Sometimes it's a bit of a roller coaster, speaking of the emotions. Do you have a story in the 30 plus years where it took all hands on deck? It took, months and months to get someone to be able to cross that finish line of purchasing that you could share with somebody who might be losing hope.
So do you mean to get them to a pre-approval stage so they can go buy a house? Because the way I work, if you're not getting approved by underwriting when I need you to be approved to close on time, I don't think you should have a pre-approval.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be out there shopping.
Agreed.
So it's just getting to the point of understanding what is the plan with the client. So it is my job to ask the questions that nobody else wants to ask. It's my job to have the tough conversations that most loan officers don't want to have because they have fear around losing the potential client that's going to close a mortgage. So at this late stage in my career, I don't have fear over losing clients. I'm going to share what they need to know so they can get to what they want to get to, which is they want to own a home or they want to do that move-up home. So I don't mind having the hard conversations. And I think it's important to dig deep and find out where the real issues are. I can see the issues with income. And so it's just finding the problems and having a solution.
Have you ever so maybe this will help clarify in the moments in which you're talking with a client and let's say you take them through the rudimentary exercise, right? And it is rudimentary. Like what are you spending every month?
Yes.
Let's just go look at your bank account, right? It's pretty simple. What goes in and what goes out. In those moments, have you had to have the conversation with people, whether they're a move-up buyer or a first-time home buyer, saying, hey, you got to drop the eating out. You got to drop this, that, and the other thing. Like, we got to change the lifestyle and your spending habits in order for this to even make sense.
Yes, and I always am so respectful of this conversation, but I have told thousands of people that.
Yeah.
I have no worries about it because I don't know that anybody else is. They're not teaching it in school. They don't teach these classes in college. And it's just something that I learned from a very, very wealthy mentor when I was 27. And it has stuck with me.
Yeah.
I do a simple budget every single month.
For yourself?
Every single month, yes.
Amazing.
Every single month. It's so simple. I know exactly what came into our bank accounts in the form of paychecks or, got a birthday gift for $100 from a grandparent or something. And every single penny that gets spent.
Wow.
In a month's time, I can see. And I have them years and years back.
So do you offer anything today beyond someone saying, like, I know I'm going to buy a house one day. It's just not right now, Brenda. And can you educate me on how to prepare for that? Is that something that you do for people? Or do you point them towards something?
I have done financial wealth workshops. It's just a matter of marketing it well enough to get people to show up because I've had full rooms where I just offered to past clients. I haven't in a few years. I should.
Yeah.
I should.
I think that would be something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of my own 22-year-old. Like, I would want him in that room.
Yes.
Right? At that exact age.
My 26-year-olds do the budget.
Yes. And I think
I make them.
Vital
they don't
time.
Have a choice.
Right? I mean, if they got it right in their 20s, my gosh, 30s and 40s, 50s.
Changing.
Yes.
The act of just looking. What we don't want to look at. But the people that don't want to look at it are the ones that should. The people that don't need to also should.
Yes.
Because when you are looking at these numbers, you subconsciously and happily say no more often than not.
Yes.
And you do it with empowerment. You made the choice.
Yes. Well, and I think something too, if people had that information prior to making massive purchases, right?
Yes.
So this being one of them, a house, a home.
Yep.
They would be better served. They'd be stronger in the moment of choosing what home, what payment, what amount that they can afford versus learning this right on the spot and going, oh, everything we've been dreaming about for the last 2 to 3 years, we've got to go ahead and truncate that.
Well, and one of the things that happens very commonly, and that's a tough conversation, but I have to have it all the time, is I always want to know, have you thought of a monthly payment? Like, I think most people are asked, what's your price point, right? What's your down payment?
Yes.
I want to know, what is the payment that you think is going to fit your budget? And somebody will say, $2,000 is where we're comfortable. You know, our rent was $1,500, or our current mortgage payment's $1,500. We're thinking $2,000. But they want to go buy a $400,000 house. So
right.
They don't pair together. So I have to show them and do the math on, here's a $4,000, and that's when the conversation comes of, let's talk about, you know, tell me and share what are some of your expenses.
Yes.
What do you
Where's
think?
the
And
money
that's where
going?
I have that. Yep. Where's the money going?
It?
Especially when somebody's making the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always tricky.
I think that's powerful, and I hope
It
people
is. It's
listening
really powerful.
really hear, you know, the basics and going over it now versus in the moment you're purchasing, and reaching out to somebody like you and saying, hey, in 6 months I'm going to make this move. I want to go through the education piece of what you think I should do to be prepared for that will be massive. Or attending one of your classes or a webinar or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do one.
So what do you do to make sure you stay relevant? You know, being in an industry this long, it's easy to get complacent. I know you haven't. It's why we're sitting here today. So what are some of the things you've done over the course of decades to stay relevant? Because quite frankly, I know a lot of veterans and they become irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
They don't succumb to, well, the market has shifted, the technology has shifted, the relationships have shifted, and I see I've got to go a different route. You have.
Because everything I do is relationship driven. And you can't hide behind, I mean, I'm not super amazing at social media, but I try and post some stuff out there several times a week, right? I'm not as consistent as others or as I need to be. But it's all in my relationship. So I live on the phone and face-to-face. I meet every client face-to-face that I do a pre-approval for.
Yeah.
On Zoom or in person. And I'm just recapping, and I want expectations set. I want everyone to understand payment and what is it going to cost me cash to close. And I just kind of refresh some of the new buyers. I'm teaching them how our wonky Michigan taxes work, right? And how closing costs work, and matching the payment to the purchase price. And it's that relationship-driven mindset that I think keeps me relevant.
Yeah.
I am on the phone nonstop all day, and I am in front of people nonstop, building and deepening relationships. I think people need to know they're just not another number.
Yeah.
You know?
Where do you
and they're
see?
Important.
Yeah, I agree. And especially today, right? I mean, the technology
it's
takeover.
It's super easy to be a number.
It's easy to leverage that part of your work.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And it's one thing we constantly talk to realtors about is like, hey, the one thing we don't leverage is the relationship.
Right. Never.
And we've got to go deep there. And that's why we've got leverage in other areas. So
the technology
that you can do that.
to get our jobs done quicker, easier, efficiency, but not the relationship part, because people need to know and still have that connection.
Yep, totally.
In my opinion.
Agreed. Where do you see your career going? What's next?
Nowhere until I retire one day.
Yeah?
Yep.
So retirement's in the future.
Well, I'm imagining one day. I just don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I supposed to? I mean, you know, I love gardening and like fiddling around on my property and going up north and traveling, but there's way too much time in between that. I can't possibly garden 8-hour days and sit around and watch TV.
Right.
So I don't know, because I'm a A-type, AAA type personality that's a busybody. So I
lot
can't
of energy.
imagine I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. I get it. I know it's hard to picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
I have a fun activity I do with clients. So I do more leadership transformation now.
Yeah.
And I have a fun activity of a 10-year vision. And when you have to look at your age in 10 years, your children's ages in 10 years, your husband's
that's
age.
creepy when
right.
you're my
It
age.
really, really puts it into focus. Like, oh, this is coming. There's no denying it.
No,
so I can
there's
either be
not.
delusional and not think about it, like my payment and my expenses.
Right.
Or I can do the basic steps of like, what could it look like? And I should probably start to picture that and wonder about it a little bit.
It just goes so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember every day not every day, but, every year I'm like, I'm going to be like 40. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow, I'm like 46. I'm going to be 50 soon. And here I am,
I know.
and it just flies. So you got to
does.
live your moments and enjoy life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But the financing piece, I'll tell you, that's why that budget is so critical, because it's much easier to live life when you're paying attention. And when you're paying attention, you will do better financially. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the more you do better financially, the better options you have.
There's always more options.
And I think that's the most important
Yes.
lesson with that. And I've
Yeah.
been in the boat where I was careless with my finances
And
because it
me
was
as well.
ignorance. That's all it was.
Yep.
And when I learned, it was like, oh, it's worthy of slowing down to speed up, because those options and the speed up, oh my goodness.
We've all had our mistakes.
Yes.
I mean, I share personally when somebody's not in the perfect financial situation that I was in your shoes, like identically. Let me tell you my quick 2-minute story. And then it really comforts people to know I'm not perfect.
Yes.
They
There's
need
lessons to
know.
be
We all
learned.
have had issues at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the more we expose and talk about the conversation of finances, the less taboo it is.
Yes.
And the more educated people would be willing to become, because
Yeah.
there's the admittance piece of, oh yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I know the basics of.
Or I learned my lesson a long time. Let me tell you what I did wrong.
Yeah, that lesson's
There's
a big one.
trust factor there too when you're not trying to be like this perfect thing, telling them, oh, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yep, the
So
vulnerability.
you get on the vulnerability and sharing the truth. Yeah.
Well, and I think people like you are in the position you are because you've been where a lot of your clients are.
Yeah.
Right? You get to truly say, I understand that
Yep.
seat. And let me
Yep.
tell you, when you learn these things, when you do these things, the other side is so much better. There's hope at any
I
age,
agree.
any time.
I agree.
There's always a way up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could help people understand, we talked about thriving well. You said you leverage in your career.
Yep.
What do you do to protect your time for your hobbies, for yourself? How do you maintain self-care so that you are the most ready and robust?
Ask me that.
Yeah, we love that question.
Oh, let's see. I do work out, not like I'm supposed to.
Okay.
And I just make sure I spend a lot of quality time with my husband, my kids. I have 2 amazing, adorable little dogs. And I spend time with friends. And I start at a certain time. Like I don't take a text at 7 in the morning because I have to have some window of time for myself, right? A client can wait till 8 or 8:30.
Yes.
Nothing is life or death. And if it was about a house, I would respond.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time up at our cottage, but if things happen on the weekends, so, but I will tell you, for self-care, it is, you mean like just my extracurricular activities?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Anything you do to
I
serve
live
yourself.
on 10 acres, so it's a lot of manual work.
That
we should have
is.
been slowing down in our age, but instead we ramped up the physical activity. So we are moving logs some weekends.
Wow.
And and then I have a massive garden, and I love to, I learned how to can, which is weird, but I love it. And I can my own vegetables. I make things like beef tallow face cream for fun.
Yes.
And it's just for fun because I'm a busybody. I think most people at my age go home after a long day of work and plop down.
Yes. Yes.
I do not. I just am busy.
Yeah, I love the
busy.
beef tallow
Yeah.
that you're just like, oh yes, I
Oh, and
also make
we
beef
have
tallow
bees.
lotion.
We have bees. We have beehives in the backyard. We have 4 hives, so we
Oh,
make our own
that's
honey.
amazing.
I don't make the honey. The bees make the honey.
Yes.
And I did make my own lip balm. I should bring you one.
You should.
I know. It's all organic, and it's right out of the beeswax in my
Ooh,
backyard.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
I
will.
would love that. Well, I think that's amazing. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. I
Yes.
think to have such a
Yes.
successful career as you've had
Thank
over 3+ decades is notable.
Crazy.
And we can really take some lessons of inspiration and wisdom. So thanks for sharing today.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So this was so valuable. I know there are going to be people watching that want to get in contact with you, and whether or not they're ready to buy or
Yeah.
they're interested in how to get prepared for financial wealth through real estate, how can they get in contact with you?
I would say the best way is my cell phone, and that's 248-515-3855. My email is another choice, super simple. B for my initials, BB bb@ccm.com.
That is easy.
Yeah, I know,
Very
right?
easy.
bb@ccm.com. And then I have a website you can check out. I think I hit almost 700 reviews of verified clients. My website is borrowwithbrenda.com.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And we will put all that information
Okay,
below for
perfect.
people to grab as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on the ThriveWell podcast with Brenda. We will add all her information below. And if this was helpful to you, please share it with a friend or comment below on your takeaway. We're looking forward to hearing from you.